today we are joined by a conscious economist and the former Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service of the Gambia, Mr. Sabally. Mr. Sabally is the right person to speak to when it comes to ideas on how to stimulate your business or stabilize the economy and strengthen capacity. Mr. Sabally, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Sabally. Today our topic of discussion is the corona outbreak, the possible impact of the corona outbreak, which of course originated in China and has affected or infected over 200,000 people. This virus also not only affect people health-wise, but it has also made economies or great countries to be counting cost. Sabally, what do you make of this coronavirus and its impact on the economy?
Well, it's a serious global issue because we know for sure that global output, gross domestic product, is going to shrink this year.
Yes.
And we know already in the Gambia, our finance ministry has estimated a drop of about 50%. That's from a forecast of 6.3% to 3%. So definitely the economic activity is going to slow down.
Yeah.
And the thing about the gross domestic product is that it is the pie which we all share as economic actors within this geopolitical entity.
Okay.
So if that goes down, everybody's share goes down.
Okay.
And I'm more concerned about the low-income operator economic agents, like people working in the tourism industry, for instance.
Okay.
People working in sectors that are import dependent, all of these sectors.
Okay.
We know restaurants have closed, all these hotels are going to close down ultimately.
Okay.
So the people working in these sectors are going to be affected, their families will be affected.
Okay.
Those whose services are contingent upon this industry, like these women selling fruits and vegetables and other consumables in the tourism development area, their income is going to come down and it's definitely going to affect their families. So that's a cause for concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Minister of Finance have stated in his address at the National Assembly that the economic growth in 2020 will be 3% lower than the initial estimate of 6.3% at the beginning. How is it, or what measures can the government take, the government of the Gambia, in order to stabilize the economy in this particular period of time?
Good question, and you would realize that the finance minister never came up with any such measures in his address to the National Assembly. And I don't think the National Assembly members asked him those questions either. All he was talking about was domestic borrowing is going to be higher, and that means they're making a case to justify getting back into the market to borrow and perhaps burst the agreed ceiling for domestic borrowing, because this economy and this government were in trouble already in terms of their budget and macroeconomic policies, even before the coronavirus set in. So I'm not saying, like, I agree with him, coronavirus is going to have an effect, but they're also trying to use that to cover themselves up so that they could get away with some of the miscalculations and disingenuous decisions they took in terms of excessive government spending that is not backed up by adequate and sustainable revenue measures. So this is our situation, but in terms of what they could do, really, I think the government should come up with a stimulus package. Now, if you talk about a stimulus package, usually in America, for instance, you would think, beyond the cutting down of interest rates, you would think of injecting cash, giving people allowances, supporting businesses. Okay, now, in the Gambia, our financial system is not as robust as the West, for instance.
Exactly.
But there are basic issues we could do.
Okay.
I think government, I know they're already going cap in hand begging for money, and I know they're going to receive money.
Exactly.
I think there should be a package, at the very least, specifically for workers in the tourism industry whose income is going to cut off almost immediately, and their families, at least give an allowance, even if it is a one-off $1,000 tourist package for every bona fide employee in the tourism industry. That is going to help.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And health workers, for instance, they exposed to extra risk.
Okay.
We know energy motivation level in the health sector is not ideal due to the ineffective, suboptimal leadership within that sector.
Okay.
So I would definitely recommend an increase emergency allowance for health workers,
okay,
in addition to providing adequate,
okay,
safe, protective gear for them.
Okay.
In terms of interest rates, for instance, almost all businesses are running on credit. I know in certain countries they've suspended interest charges. America has cut down interest rates. It might be difficult to do this in this country, but government should at least engage the Association of Bankers, the Bankers Association, at least through the Ministry of Finance, and just ask them what they could do. You never know. Somebody could come up with some creative idea. Beyond that, I told you this economy was in trouble even before coronavirus hit.
Okay.
Inflation was already on the rise in this country. It was quite evident in the markets, rice, sugar, you name it. Things were going up. You know why? Because of past decisions that this government took that I advised them against, like this quantum jump in salary, yes. 50%, without adequate backing in terms of revenue measures, poor procurement decisions like the Banjul project, which is clearly overpriced as agreed to by any casual observer, and is being paid for from our budget. So you have all of these things in the system. Now what happened was, I don't know if you're observing the business scene, business people have been complaining a lot that what they are paying for customs duty has doubled, some say it has tripled, okay. Some say even higher than that. So I know that government has not officially increased the duty rate. But I know what they did. They tightened the screws in terms of compliance. So what they're doing is a sign of desperation on the side of the government. Now we are in trouble. We are spending more than we are earning. So we're going to squeeze every little butut that we can from all the economic agents. So that means effectively the amount of money businesses are paying, especially those importing, has risen. Now I would advise government to slow down a little bit. If they cannot bring down the custom duty rate, let them find a way of being a little bit relaxed in terms of how they pressure these economic agents. Now, this is a tricky area, and I wouldn't have enough time to delve into it adequately, but government should look at ways of easing the burden of customs duty and excise taxes on economic agents in this country. And all of these things are going to have an effect, because the economy is the anchor for all of us. If it goes down, we all sink. If it rises, we all rise. Now, with this stoppage of the tourism industry, for instance, other sectors related to the global economy, people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose income. If we are not careful, the crime rate is going to rise in this country. So even if the government doesn't have sympathy to help people, let them think of the socio-economic ramifications in terms of social stability, social safety nets, and let them do something to try to cushion the low-income, vulnerable members of our society from the terrible effects of the coronavirus.
Mr. Sabally, the government also mentioned expenditure control as another tool to stabilize the impact of the coronavirus on the economy. As per the minister's speech at the National Assembly. What do you have to say on that?
Well, if you carefully listen to the minister, you'll see that he didn't make mention of any specific moves that they are going to do to curtail expenditure. Did he? No, he didn't. He just made a vague statement. So that means the government is not serious about expenditure control, because they're all binging on the meager resources that the poor people are paying into the treasury in terms of taxes. I don't see them taking any serious moves. And the only good thing, which is a natural constraint on them, when they did the travel ban, they don't have a choice, even if they want to. If these people could travel during this coronavirus for per diem, they will travel at the risk of their lives. The only thing that's going to help us is other people are not going to accept them. The whole world is going on a lockdown, so they don't have a choice. So I think that will create a natural constraint on them. At least per diem expenditures would not come down. Well, would not go up. That would come down. That would be a natural constraint. Apart from that, I don't see this government taking any serious moves to curtail expenditure, because they know now they have a genuine, quote-unquote, excuse to go to the money market and borrow and burst the ceiling on domestic borrowing.
We have certain industries or sectors that are being affected, or that the government said are likely to be affected, which is the trade, the remittance, the construction, hotels and restaurants. Mm-hmm. You know, these people will be affected. so much so that the economy also would have an impact on the economy. Now, how do you think that these sectors will be affected, and what measure can government put in place? And not only government, because it's not only government role, to help mitigate the impact of this coronavirus on the economy. What role should the private businesses play in order to mitigate the impact of this coronavirus on the economy?
Well, the sectors you've mentioned, it's very obvious they are going to be impacted because, especially when it comes to remittances, Gambians, a lot of families rely on what the family members in the diaspora are sending, and we know most people are working from home in Europe. My particular concern is the case of the undocumented workers, Gambians in the diaspora working in the informal sector. They may not have a cushion, an adequate cushion against the effects of the coronavirus, so their income is going to come down. The remittances they are going to send is going to come down, so we're definitely going to feel this effect in the country. Of course, they are the ones powering construction as well and other services.
Exactly.
It's quite obvious, quite unfortunate. Government, you were saying it's not only government, but they are the ones we voted for, they are the ones we're giving our tax money to, so it's their responsibility to do something. One company cannot have a major effect on the economy. Having said that, it's just to appeal to the better humans in us, the angels in us, that companies, I'm not saying they should make profit, but they should be very considerate that these are really unusual times, and the low income, as I said, the vulnerable segments of the society are going to be at the brunt of the impact of this coronavirus. So whatever they could do, and I think they should come together and share creative ideas. I understand there was a fundraiser by GCCI. I don't know whether you followed that. I heard that there was a fundraiser. Good idea, but let them sit down and come up with creative ideas and solutions that can help us weather the storms of this terrible virus.
What are some of those ideas?
I would not know. I'm not an operator in the private sector, and like I said, I don't want to give them prescriptions. I know there is always a solution to any problem. For instance, banks, and I don't want to appear as if I'm imposing this on them.
Yes.
How about them taking a haircut, like drop interest rates by 1%, for instance, or freeze interest charges for the period of the coronavirus? They can do that. Wallahi, they can do that. So that's why I'm saying I'm appealing to our better humans. We all have devils and angels in us. It's a fight between these two
exactly.
forces for dominance. But I believe the angels in us are rising faster these days.
That's right.
If they really sit down. I mean, we know people are panic buying and it's shooting up prices.
Yeah.
Please don't raise your prices. I mean, you know that what's happening, people are just rushing because they are afraid. And I believe if the coronavirus pandemic does not go beyond 3 months, I believe we're going to have, that's what I believe from my limited knowledge of the supply chain. I believe we're going to have food stuff in this country for at least 3 months. So and I believe also there'll be a solution to this virus. I don't know how soon. I don't want to speculate on that. It's going to happen. Allah is in control. There is a God. He's alive. He doesn't sleep. He's fully in charge. Okay. We just need to take precautions as human beings, do what we can do. Allah is going to take care of this, inshallah. I want to repeat, I'm not preaching a fatalistic message here to sit down and go to bed and say, no, we got to do something. But if we act in a conscientious manner, with unity of purpose and clarity of vision, inshallah, we'll be able to resolve this problem. I want to cite this, I'm on social media like 24/7. Okay. I saw MFH Group. Made a statement. I was really impressed. I want to say congratulations to Fadi and the entire team, the management staff, and the board of the MFH Group. I mean, I think they do this cynical thingy. They made a declaration. I saw this on LinkedIn, that they understand that there are price hikes in the market. He said they have not risen. They've not raised their prices, and they want to inform the people. The message they are sending is, because if you have people like my favorite punchbags, Sarahules, they're very greedy, they love money. They can go and buy from a company, and while the company has not raised it, they go and double the price just to take advantage of. They should stop that. Exactly. People should stop that. We all want money, we all want profit, but my favorite epidemiologist, S.G. Silla, he shared this with us in Sabally Public Square. He said shared vulnerability requires shared responsibility. We are all weak. We are all vulnerable. Anything can happen to anybody right now.
Right.
You know, they're saying that this thing does not kill young people easily. I just saw on Instagram a young journalist in, I think it's Southern Africa or so.
Zambia?
Yeah,
Yes.
died. So anybody could be affected. So let's be careful. We're all weak right now. We should not, it's like I don't want to use this scary metaphor, but it's like we're all about to drown.
Yes.
But like the ship is there, right? So we should try to protect each other, not try to push each other into this storm. So please, I think private sector, please don't take undue advantage of the situation and raise your prices. Really, that's really bad. That's really bad.
Is it also the responsibility of the government to control prices? Because you know, in economics, if government want to chip their hand into the market, the invisible hand that control the market, you know, is price.
No, that's a tough area.
Tough area.
I believe in free market economics.
Exactly.
I don't think the economy should be let loose to behave any way it wants to behave, especially in areas where you have price gouging, because if you talk about the freest of economies, perhaps America. Yeah. I remember when I was doing my master's in Atlanta around 06, 07 or so, there was this hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Katrina, and there was price gouging in with the gas stations. The government stopped in. But generally, from my school of thought in economics, I don't want to see government controlling prices. Okay. But when people try to take advantage of a situation, at least government should sound the alarm bell, caution them. If they misbehave, then we got to do what we got to do. But generally, I don't want to see government rushing into trying to regulate prices. But I said, government, through the Ministry of Finance and perhaps Ministry of Trade, should engage further with the business community. Be a little bit proactive instead of this laid-back, reactive approach. Let them be proactive and engage with people. There are bad businessmen, but I think there are more good businessmen than bad businessmen. So
that's true.
I'm just hoping and counting on the inner angels in all of us that there would be good Samaritans who would want to cooperate with government to make sure the impact, the adverse impact of the coronavirus is mitigated, at least in the interest of protecting the poor and the vulnerable.
Just to throw some light on the misconception that we have. There are so many misconceptions. This one is kind of is still on the topic, but there are misconceptions about this coronavirus, which people are talking about nowadays. You know that so you can if you shake hand with a person, you're going to easily caught the virus, or you drink cow urine, or you drink charcoal. There is a hair in the Quran. If you open it, all those are misconceptions, you know, which people need to be enlightened, you know, and then we leave the messages to be sent by the people that are concerned, I think. What do you make of those misconceptions?
All right, on a serious note, look, this is a matter of life and death, and people should not joke about this. I woke up this morning, I made a post on our Facebook group page, Sabally Leadership Academy. Yeah. My advice is for us to take this seriously. It's a deadly disease. It's contagious. So we should listen to expert advice from WHO, established professionals in the area, and take that and also share that. Because these misconceptions, I've heard about them also. People saying if you open the Quran, you take a hair, you drink it, that's going to kill you. I mean, and it's very sad that people are using religion in this most fragile, dangerous time to misinform and mislead people. And I believe anybody who does it, if you die, God will take you to hellfire. Yeah. Because this is a religion of intellect. You know, Allah in the Quran constantly talks to people of understanding. Afala yaqilun. Are you not reflecting? You know, this is a revelation from the Most High, the Most Wise, onto our intellect, wahyun alal aql. So the Quran, Islam, or Christianity can never guide you through something that will destroy you. So I'm back to my post on Facebook and said, stop listening to these charlatans and quack doctors. You know, listen to experts. But I want to repeat this also, because if I get the misconceived message and dangerous message, If I look at it and know it's bad and I dump it, the impact is less. But if I share it, and some people just, they receive messages on social media even without listening and share it, that's dangerous. So let's control this scourge of misinformation and take, I want to repeat, take expert advice. Mamadou Sabally is an economist. Take advice from me on economy. If I want to tell you how to deal with the medical effects of coronavirus, please tell me go to hell. Yeah, because that's not my area.
Yeah.
So let people speak about what they know. And this is a fundamental part of our religion, Islam in particular. You can't go out there and start misinforming people and you kill people, because this thing is contagious. If you misinform somebody and he gets infected and he takes it to other people, all those people get infected, Allah will take you to account for all of these things. Beyond that, I mean, this washing her hands, it's serious. I went to a mall yesterday. I was going, I always have hand sanitizer in my, I actually have it right now.
Right.
And I would do this just to show the Kiankas that, you know, it's not supposed to be for wudu or exactly. Drinking. It's just to
wash your hands.
Disinfect. So I was going in and the guy called me and said, Sabally, you should use I already had my disinfectant, but I complied. Okay. And he told me, thank you, because some people come here and they refuse to use it. Malewada did this post on how unprepared our health system is regarding this coronavirus. Okay. He said in some health posts, they have this hand wash thingy, but people refuse to comply. And I think the government should post police officers on all these places. If you refuse to disinfect or wash your hands, you should be kicked out of the place. Because if you want to die, you want to endanger your life, that's okay, but you don't have no right to endanger other lives. So I think these precautions should all be taken very seriously. You know, we all believe in God. Hello, you believe in God, I believe in God. Yeah. But we disinfected even before we started this. Right. So you know what the word of say, yala yala base at all. I'm a Muslim. I believe in Allah. I believe in Qadar. Yeah. I believe what Allah said is true. قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. You know, say nothing will happen to us except what Allah has decreed for us. هُوَ مَوْلَانَا وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Allah is our protector, and those who believe should rely on Allah. But the same Allah is the one who sent us the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who thought of methods and behaviors, including regular washing, taking of ablution. You know, the Prophet even gave us a solution to this menace in authentic tradition, that when this kind of thing happens, if you are in a place that's affected, don't go out of the place, right? And if you are in a place that's not affected, don't go into a place that's affected. That's automatic quarantine. That's right. So we have a religion that's based on reason. It's a rational religion. Qadr is there. Whatever happens, Allah decrees. But we take precautions, and then we rely on Allah. And also for people to remain calm, because a sense of panic can even worsen this panic buying, panic. I mean, all this misconception, I think it's a rush, because you are too afraid. Yeah. Hello? Your system has antibodies. Exactly. This is not a mass-produced thing, you know. You are not mass-produced. You're made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know how many millions of cells are in your body? Do you know how many antibodies in the hundreds of thousands and millions are produced in your body to fight all of these diseases? So you are not a rubber contraption out there. You are an authentic human being. You have inbuilt systems. Be careful. Do not panic. What are you panicking? You're going to die anyway. The death you are running away from, you're going to meet it there. And, you know, or it's going to meet you. So you cannot escape. Remain calm, take precautions, and listen to experts. Don't listen to any... Like a Marabu play for you, man. A Marabu is not a scientist. He should not tell you how to deal with coronavirus.
Yes, we have seen that happening over in the Gambia. The Marabus are everywhere, telling people and...
It's crazy.
Let me just take you straight to the 500 million, which is half $1 billion, which is allocated to the Ministry of Health, you know, to cope this pandemic. From economic perspective, how are we going to judicially use this amount so that this virus could be coped within a short period of time?
Well, to be honest, when I talk about economics, I talk about serious issues. Where is the 500 million coming from?
From the government.
Where? We have a budget that's approved, and as far as I'm concerned, the National Assembly has not increased the budget or approved any supplementary appropriation. Where is the money coming from? I think this government needs to be serious about how they do things. If the government wants to inject 500 million, I think it's a good idea. But I expect the government to tell me where this money is coming from. Is it coming from donor funds? Are they going to borrow? Is the National Assembly going to approve a supplementary appropriation bill? That's one, supply side. Where is this money going to? Is it going to pay per diems or workshop or buy new cars? If you're going to give me 500 million, tell me where it is going. I want to see this 500 million go into buying supplies and sanitizers, wash basin, create at least one or two, isolation or pressure rooms. Because right now the entire nation is relying on a foreign entity, MRC.
Yeah.
What use is our independence? So tell me you're going to use part of that to do X, Y, Z, but the president cannot just come and tell 500 million out in the air. And I know right now as we speak, there's shortage of equipment and facilities with the people working in the health sector. So please, I want to hear something more from government before I even comment about this.
Okay. Right, thank you very much. This is all we have for you in this edition of the Business Plus Show. Mr. Sabally, I'll just allow you to wrap up in 2-3 minutes. Your final words to the people on the impact of the coronavirus and the coronavirus itself. What is expected of citizens, what is expected of the government, and then what is expected of international organizations in the Gambia, so as to work collectively and then ensure that this virus is out of the Gambia as soon as possible. Your final words, please.
Well, thank you. I just want to give a message of hope that people should not panic. People should remain calm, and but to take precautions. Again, I want to repeat: listen to the experts. Don't listen to any quack doctor or any wannabe expert. I mean, let the experts speak, and let's take precautions from them. I think government should do more than they are doing right now. The government's response, I'm completely, totally disappointed. And I know some people don't want us to talk about this. They said we should not point fingers. I will only stop pointing fingers to this government if they give me all the tax I'm paying them. Because I'm a bona fide system. I have a contract with them. If they don't deliver, I have a right to speak. I would not insult any government official or the government itself, but I will criticize them. I'll continue to do that in a very responsible way. Meanwhile, I'm also doing my bit to sensitize people and advise people, and I think we should all do that. I am supporting voluntary organizations from my own resources to go for sensitization and provide detergents and disinfectants. I'm doing that. Other people are doing that at a higher scale. I want to encourage them to continue. And I know, I think the communities need to get more engaged. We're getting I know Mayor Rohilo is doing a fantastic job with the youths in Banjul. Talib Bensouda is similarly doing a fantastic job. Some National Assembly members I know I've seen, like Honorable Bakarin Jai, Honorable Suleiman Saho. Okay. Sidia Jata, I heard, actually was among the first to advise National Assembly members all go back to their communities and sensitize them. I think these are really laudable initiatives. I want to commend all of them. Honorable Sidia Jata, Mayor Rohilo, Mayor Talib Bensouda, all. I understand PDOIS as an institution also made donations. Okay. His Excellency Lawyer Usainu Dabo for his interventions, his speeches, calling everybody to put politics aside and stop political activities and come together. Okay. I want to commend him and the UDP youths for the fantastic job they've been doing in terms of sensitization and provision of resources to curb this menace. I want to encourage everybody. I mean, everybody can do something. Like what you're doing here, you're disseminating information. I think that's a plus. Yes. So everybody can do something. We should all do something, but remain calm and hopeful. This too shall pass, inshallah. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator, the protector, and the curer, to help us cure us of this very dangerous mental as well as physical disease, the coronavirus. Thank you.
I mean, thank you very much, Mr. Sabally. That is all we have for you in this edition of the Business Plus. So, I was your host, Mamadou Fati. Until we come your way next week. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Better Future Production, or Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.